Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast. Tonight we have our first repeated guest. We had him on, obviously, right at the beginning of last year. Has accomplished a lot this season. Logan Stankoven. Logan, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm doing good, thanks.
Yeah, man. So first off, man, as of about 6 hours ago, the Texas Stars announced that you were named to the AHL top prospects team. Three forwards, two defensemen, and a goalie are selected to this team. How much of an honor is that? Obviously, that's a huge accomplishment for to be named to that team. What are your feelings towards that? And like I said, how much of an honor is that?
Yeah, it's really exciting and obviously a huge honor. Lots of good rookies and young prospects in the league, and yeah, obviously it's voted by I think it was the coaches and the GMs of the league, I believe, and
Yep.
it's pretty cool that my name is up there.
Yeah, man, and we'll go back to your AHL season a little bit later, but definitely want to talk to you about the unbelievable run that you guys went on. Talk to us about this Dallas Stars team. Obviously, you guys came up a little bit short, but had an incredibly special year. I mean, you guys, your combination of young guys, veterans. Talk to us about the season, man. What biggest takeaways from the season?
I think just the compete level and the skill level. It's such a fast game out there, and I had a lot of fun this year. I didn't really, expect to be called up at any time just because of how much depth that the Dallas team has, and so I just tried to work as hard as I could down in with the Texas team and put myself in the best position possible. But just everything about it, the playoff run, and getting to play my first games and everything, it's just it was a really cool experience. So grateful for all of it.
Yeah, man, and obviously there's nothing official that's come out yet. But all signs are kind of pointing towards Joe Pavelski retiring. And obviously at the end of that last game, all the guys had nothing but great things to say about him. Obviously his on ice, off the ice, just as a teammate. Can you talk to us about what he meant, not only as a teammate on the ice, but his leadership and mentorship to, yourself and the other young guys in the locker room?
Yeah, he just seemed like a really calming presence, and I was lucky enough to live with him. Super nice of him to kind of open up his house and basically give me a room to myself and feed me and stuff. So it was a lot of fun being able to live with him and kind of get to know him more. Outside of the rink as well. Just how much of a pro he is, taking care of his body. Obviously, being an older guy in the league, and when you see him do that type of stuff, it's not surprising why he played so long and why he had such a successful career.
Yeah, man, and I kind of want to bounce back to obviously the long playoff run that you guys had. Man, you scored your first playoff goal, Game 3 versus Colorado. Can you take us through that moment, man? I was just watching it back, just how electric it was. Obviously, you guys were away in Colorado. Can you kind of take us through that moment and how crazy it was that you mentioned earlier you didn't even think you'd be on this team. Now you're scoring in the playoffs. How crazy was that for you?
It was awesome. It was almost, I think for me, it was relief just because I had so many chances in the previous series against Vegas and first few games against Colorado. I had some good chances and just couldn't bury. And I was getting pretty frustrated at times, trying to stay calm, but I kind of knew it was coming. Just had to keep working hard and put myself in good spots to get the puck. So surely enough, it happened, and just a fun night overall. And just shows that hard work can get you places.
Yeah, man, I mentioned earlier, I mean, you guys were such a fun team to watch, even for, fans that weren't necessarily Dallas Stars fans throughout the majority of the year. Just the way that you guys played, your play style. Um, you know, How electric was it playing at American Airlines Center? Especially come playoff time, man, because I mentioned I was at game 1 in Edmonton. I did not realize how freaking crazy that place gets. Man, like what was it? What was it like playing, especially in a playoff environment?
Yeah, I didn't expect the fans to be that loud at American Airlines Center, and I didn't really, know too much about hockey down in Texas and how passionate the fans are. So it was really cool to see that building get loud, and they were really supportive all year. So a lot of fun to play in front of them.
You mentioned Texas, man. Like, what was the man? Like, was it kind of a culture shock when you finally moved down there and kind of you mentioned you lived with Pavelski for a little bit? Like, what was it like a huge culture shock to you, kind of moving down there and kind of getting your feet under you? Obviously, you had success at the AHL level playing for the Texas Stars, and then you move up to the NHL level, and not much changes, right? You're still putting the puck in the net. How much of a culture shock was it to you when you finally moved down there, and how long would you say it kind of took you to really get your feet under you?
I don't think it was much of a change, but I think in terms of living away from home for kind of the first time, and um, I played junior at home here, so
Yep.
a lot of things I had done for me, and got to sleep, in my own bed and home cooked meals. So it was just comfortable. So I had to go outside my comfort zone and find my own apartment down in Austin, and cook my own meals and all that type of stuff. It kind of made me grow up a lot, and I think it made me better as a person. So I think those were kind of the changes, but yeah, I thought I enjoyed it a lot.
We just got a Warren Fogle goal, by the way. They just fired the period back up, so I'll try to get my shit together here. But man, that final game, Connor McDavid, you guys are in the handshake line. Noticeably, Connor McDavid kind of talks to you. Noticeable. The other guys, he talks to Wyatt Johnston as well. What did Connor say to you, and what did it mean to have him, kind of take the time to actually talk to you at the end of the game? A guy probably the best player in the world. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, that was really cool. Like I said before, he's a super classy guy, and he kind of just said, "Hey, you're a great player. We have a lot of respect for you." And yeah, so I was just kind of shocked by that. I didn't expect him to, kind of say that. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for him, and could have easily just kind of walked by and or kind of just shook my hand and kept on moving on. But just goes to show that he's a really classy guy, and yeah, just definitely a moment that I'll remember for the rest of my career.
That's the beauty of the NHL, man. You guys go through war through a playoff series, and at the at the end of it, all it is you guys all respect each other so much. That's what makes the game so great.
Yeah.
Um, man, I want to go back to your first NHL goal, which was incredible to watch. Your 21st birthday, to kind of put the icing on the cake there. It was an incredible three-man effort between, obviously Jamie Benn kind of starts off the play with a, an aggressive forecheck, I guess, in the neutral zone. And, Wyatt Johnston's able to make a pass to you. And, this is all against the Islanders. Can you take us through that moment, your first ever NHL goal? What was going through your head at that point? You were freshly called up at that point. What was going through your head, man?
I couldn't believe that I had scored. It was kind of a weird one where, yeah, like Wyatt was kind of on his own there, and did a good job of, kind of sucking the defenders in, and then kind of made a little bump play there to me at the end. I was kind of falling in behind, and I just tried to kind of get it on net. And at first, I didn't see it going, but then, the crowd kind of went crazy, and I looked, and sure enough, it was in the back of the net. So, yeah, you just never know. Sometimes you just got to put pucks on net. So,
Dude, and
just
it was a
I think it
beauty
was
of a shot.
it wasn't bad. I think it helped with having those two defenders and Wyatt kind of right in front of Sorokin there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of screened there. So
That's a hell of a
yeah, it was
goalie to
nice.
do it. That's a hell of a goalie to get your first off too.
Yeah, for sure. He's so good. So yeah, my family was in the building for the night too, so that was even more special.
Unbelievable, man. It was so awesome to see. I was so happy for you and obviously, your whole family. But I mentioned earlier how special of a team you guys had, how special of a run you guys had. The combination I mentioned earlier of the vets you guys have, Jamie Benn, Tyler Sagan, Duchesne, Pavelski, and then obviously the young guys, Heiskanen, yourself, Wyatt Johnston. What other factors made you guys so special aside from that? And what's going to make you guys, contenders for years to come?
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, the mix of older and younger, and I thought as a team we gelled really well. There wasn't, tons of separation between younger guys and older guys, and for myself, when I got called up, towards the end of the year there, all the guys made me feel really welcome, and they did a good job of just kind of letting me do my thing, and I just wanted to contribute in a positive way, and make the team better. So yeah, I think we got a good core here. For myself, I want to be able to contribute more. I thought I created some good chances, just couldn't bury. So that's something that I'll look to kind of improve upon this off season.
Yeah, man, and going back, I listened to we spoke almost a year ago, like literally to the day. Kind of you were going into this your rookie year, and I asked you the question about the craziest arenas you played in. We talked about Tri City, Seattle, and now you've played in NHL arenas in the playoffs. Um, a year later, man, what are some of the craziest barns you played in? Some of the your favorite arenas that you've played in?
I think against the Oilers in playoffs, that building was just crazy and super loud, passionate fans. As an opposing player, I loved playing there, so that was great. And um, trying to think what other buildings. Vegas was really cool. They're allowed there, so yeah, there's a lot of buildings. It's pretty cool. You don't realize it when you're on the ice, but there's 18,000 fans in the building,
Yeah.
watching you. So there's a lot of eyes on you. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, obviously, man, you're in the off season. Any big plans for the summer? Um, and what does your off season training look like after obviously your first pro season? Your off season is going to look a little bit different, right? And what areas of your game are you really going to try to hone in and work on, especially having your first year under your belt?
Well, right now it's just a little bit of rest and kind of recovery. Just been seeing my trainer for some treatment and mobility work. So long playoff run, your body can get a little banged up and bruised. So just been doing that for now, and then pretty soon here I'll start up in the gym, and maybe a week later start up on the ice again too. So it's a quick turnaround, but there's lots of work to be put in this summer. Hopefully work on my speed and my shot. So the two main things, and come back ready to contribute.
Yeah, for sure, man. Obviously, end of this month, the NHL draft's coming up. I listened to our first interview that we had, man, almost to the year, and we talked about, how you went in the second round and how it was a little bit of a disappointment, how you had dreamed of going in the first round. Um, and kind of you're one of those guys that you kind of defied the odds, right? Like you put the work in, you've worked your ass off, no matter what level you're at. For the guys that are going to be experiencing, the draft at the end of this month, what advice do you have for them? For the guys that might not hear their names right in the first round, guys that might go a little bit later. What advice do you have for those guys, as far as like, kind of using that as fuel like you did?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, I used as motivation, and um, yeah, obviously that day was disappointing, but it doesn't take you long to get over it. And next day in the gym, it just makes me want to work harder and on the ice. So just kind of push myself to be the best player I can be. And um, I don't think it's a cockiness, but I think if you can have a bit of swagger to your game and understand that, hey, even though I wasn't drafted in the first round, I'm still a really good player, and you got to have confidence in yourself that you can reach that level. So looking back on it now, it doesn't really matter what round you go in. I think it's what you do afterwards. So just got to keep progressing in the right direction, and try and outperform everybody.
100%, man. And lastly, man, so we can get back to this game, I want to talk to you about your charity work. Obviously, we've kind of gone back and forth a little bit. We were able to raise a good amount of money for Hockey Gives Blood. And obviously you've played a huge role in Hockey Gives Blood, going back to your days in Kamloops, playing for the Blazers. And, with you turning pro, how have you been able to kind of maintain that, your humanitarian efforts, obviously with the adjustment of turning pro, and to caveat off that, what are your goals moving forward as far as your involvement in the community?
Yeah, I think it's super important to be involved in the community and to give back. It's huge. So for me, it's super important. Hockey Gives Blood's really important to me. Stu Middleton, who was the one that kind of started that whole, I guess, program, and he had kind of reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a kind of a player ambassador. And both, my dad and my grandpa used to give blood. I know my grandpa's passed now, but my dad still gives blood. So, once I was old enough, I wanted to do the same. And, not long ago, I was able to kind of join Stu in his project. And I think it's been a really positive outcome. There's always somebody that needs blood, and anyway you can kind of give back. And he's been able to kind of set up different fundraising charities and events in junior, which had really turned out well. And yeah, I think it's just good to give back to the community. And obviously with the Dallas number 11 t-shirts that you and Hockey Gives Blood kind of teamed up for, that sounds like it was awesome. And yeah, so thanks again for doing that.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I do have one last question. We have a ton of kids that kind of tune into these podcasts because they want to listen to their favorite guys. Obviously, you've turned into one of those perennial guys where so many kids look up to you. What advice would you have for these kids that are kind of growing up playing the game right now, for things they can do both on the ice, off the ice, to kind of elevate their games and kind of take their game seriously and play at a high level? What advice would you have for them?
I think the first thing is always stay humble. That's something that my parents have taught me. No matter how good you are, always stay humble, and never think you're better than anybody else, because there's always somebody out there that's better than you, and stronger or faster, has a better shot. So I think that's the first thing. Another thing is just never being satisfied with where your game's at. I think there's always pieces to work on, and nobody's perfect on the ice. So if you can kind of continue to work on little things, both in the gym or, in the shooting room or on the ice, there's always room to improve. And that's something that I still kind of live by, up until now.
Awesome, man. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day, out of your night, especially with this game on. Hopefully we can talk soon again, man. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come and chat with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate
All
it.
righty, man. Take care. Thank you again.
You too. Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Logan Stankoven of the Dallas Stars. Cannot thank him enough for joining the podcast. Such a great kid. And I will say this much: Dallas Stars fans should be extremely grateful to have a player of his caliber, but a person of his magnitude, and of his character as well. Such a good kid. And awesome to see the great success that he's had in his first pro season. We did mention at the end of that episode the Dallas shirts that we have for sale. 50% of the proceeds go to Hockey Gives Blood, which, as Logan mentioned, is an organization that he cares deeply about, has had involvement with, his family has had involvement with. His late grandfather donated blood, as well as his father, Wes. Unbelievable guy as well. Just that whole family is incredible. So these shirts are going to be on sale for one more week. We are going to cut the sale off next Friday, so we want to try one more run. We've had a lot of success with while they were in the playoffs. And yeah, as I'll say again, 50% of the proceeds it's going directly to Hockey Gives Blood, and which is an incredible organization. They do great things. We're we've been super blessed to partner with them to try to raise some money for a great cause. That does wrap up episode 46 of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast. Another great episode. I always am so grateful to be able to talk to these incredibly talented players and just kind of give you guys the viewpoint of what they are like off the ice. And every single one that we've gotten the opportunity to speak to are just unbelievable people, great hearts. And once again, we cannot thank Logan enough for taking the time. Obviously, he's in the off season. We wish him the best. And I cannot wait to see what he does, especially in his official rookie year next year. He's going to be eligible for the Calder Trophy. And, even more important, I think Dallas is going to be right back in the, in the talks for, a Stanley Cup. Just that team that they have, they're so special. The combination of hardy veterans and young talent. I mean, they have some of the best young talent that the out of any of the teams in the NHL. Mentioned Logan, Wyatt Johnston kind of came, into his own this year. Maverick Bork, Miro Heiskanen. They're going to be a fun team to watch for years to come. So that does wrap up episode 46. We're coming up on a year of doing this. And I can't believe already a year has gone by. We're not officially there yet. I think we're a few episodes away until we hit that point. But yeah, like I said, I have enjoyed doing this so much. Super grateful to have the opportunity to do this and put out content. It's been a hell of a ride. And like I said, just to kind of reiterate, these shirts will be on sale for another week. You will be able to you'll be able to order these shirts. The link is going to be in the podcast episode. I also will be making a separate post where you guys will actually be able to see the shirt. Literally says Dallas with the 2 L's being the number 11 in support of Logan. And we've had great success with it so far. We want to make one more run and see if we can keep up in this number and donate to a great cause while supporting an even better human being. So again, thank you guys so much as always. Hell of an episode, and we will be back next week. Another great guest planned and lined up for you guys. So as always, love you guys. Stay safe out there, and thank you. Take care.